Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry. 1 minute. So, hello. Hello. Sorry, guys. Hello. Sorry for coming late, and I'm just gonna be here for 15 minutes because I'm stepping out. Hey, Max Jones, how are you? Princess Tima. So Princess Tima, I'm waiting for my dress. Because Friday then you go for temple. You understand? Friday then you go temple, so I'm waiting for my dress. Princess Tima, please call after the show, please. I'm serious. I need some African outfits for Fridays. So please call. Yeah. Okay. So yes, hello guys, and welcome to another Kerr Fatou Fridays. I definitely want us to Mama Julie. Why sorry guys. So I'm just going to be for just 56 Kajatu. Take your buntabi, please. Sorry guys, sorry. So I'm just going to be here for 15 minutes because I'm going to this program that is happening. I'm just going to MC this event this evening. So I'm just rushing, but I have to do the show with you guys. So I just wanted to know your reaction to last night's show. I think it's a very controversial issue, and then I had so many feedbacks this morning. Personally, what is noisy? Prince, it's noisy, please. What is noisy? Are you guys hearing me properly? Are you hearing me properly? Can you say yes? Is it noisy? Is it noisy? Prince, can you just say if it's noisy, please? Yeah, so okay, so I just wanted to just catch up with you guys on yesterday's show. Personally, I think it's a very controversial issue, and then but I thought it was also good for us to bring it up and talk to those around, those friends. I also wanted us to bring it up. Maybe it can be a case study for the government to be able to assess how these people are brought back home. I mean, like I have said on the show, the Gambia government has no control as to what the American government does. If people are out of status in the U.S., I believe, I've lived in the U.S., I believe the government of the United States, especially the Trump government, we all know how they are anti-immigrant. So that part, I have said it, I know it has nothing to do with this government. They don't make those decisions, and they don't have control over it. What I do hope, though, is that the government will notify its citizens, tell them that, of course, we have received names of people that we are verifying. And, of course, if somebody is part of that group, they should be able to reach out and tell them. And also, I was also thinking that it would have been important for the government to generally prepare the citizens, prepare them and tell the people that this is what is happening. Because it's always good to prepare people. That way, they expect that these things are coming. Because of course, they receive a list of people that are going to be sent back home. It should be good for them to inform us and say, this is we have received a number of lists for Gambians that we are working on and process them for them to come back home. That way the people are informed. But I think yesterday we recorded Mr. Gay on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I reached out to the Foreign Affairs Minister, and I have always said this. He is so accessible, especially to us. Whenever I call him, he is always ready to talk to us. So I called him on Tuesday around 6:30. He was coming from the National Assembly, and I told him, look, we interviewed this Gambian, and then there were some allegations, there were some issues that we wanted to clarify, and I was thinking of recording him on Saturday, and he says no. Can we do it tomorrow? In fact, he said to me, is it late today? So that shows how much importance he attaches to this. And I really appreciate that, because for the minister to openly be ready to come and talk about issues like this. And we had a tough discussion with him yesterday. I wish we could have played that today. He made a lot of clarifications. And then, in fact, some of the concerns I had, because I have said that on the show, even if you do not live in America, even if you do not live in America, there are certain things you know how the American government operates. You know how they do things. The government of America do not bribe. They don't involve in bribery. They will not give another government money to take their people. That personally I have believed, and I've said that on the show. The government of America will not give money to another government just to take their citizens. America is bigger than all of these countries. What they will do, though, is suspend their relationship with you. And when America suspends their relationship with any country, it affects that country. And then we have seen that before. When the German government refused to take Gambians who were supposed to be returned, we have seen what happened. I think they suspended the AGUA. There was this trade relationship we had with them. They suspended that. And they also banned visa issuance to government officials. Now, my point is that when it comes to banning Gambian government officials, issuing them visas, that is very important, is key. Because United States hosts so many international conferences and organizations that Gambia is part to. So whatever we can do and not to isolate ourselves is important. But what I do believe in is that the government needs to engage authorities in the United States as to when people are coming, how are they treated? Because having people in chains from the U.S. to the Gambia is uncalled for. Well, some said if people were violent, they have no choice but to do that. I don't know that, and I cannot confirm that because I was not there. But the minister also believed that some of those things need to be taken up. In fact, he had told us that he was going to meet with these Gambians today at his office. So what that shows that they are not just they are ready to work with these people and engage them. So I think I just wanted to. I have seen so many commentary on social media about what happened. There are some allegations that I definitely had said on the show about the 40 million. I have told I have told Mr. Guy, well, I do not believe that the government of America will give anybody money, but just like one of my colleagues, the daddy was saying, they can use it in the form of inducements. So if that happens, you cannot directly say, they have given them this amount of money. So I think those things are very important. I do not want to be one person who will politicize issues like this. They are very serious cases. Lives are at stake, and families are at stake. When people are separated, families are separated, these things are very important. So I don't think any of us should politicize this. I don't think any of us should take advantage of people's misery. So it's important that we all handle this. Our objective was to bring the situation, to give it light. Let the government also know that they have a part to play in this. My issue was when these people came to the Gambia, why were they not received at the airport? Why were they not giving some support? That was my issue, because at the end of the day, what Donald Trump government does, I don't think this government can do anything about that. But what they can do is to control their end, to give support to their people. And I think the foreign minister definitely underscored the need to do that. And he told us that, in fact, whenever they have people from Europe, the IMO is always there, and the immigration is always there to screen and support them and give them transportation. So you will see the interview next week. I think it was a very good interview. We had a frank discussion with him. We had a very frank discussion with him. Like I said, he's always accessible. He is always ready to talk to you and give you an information as to what happened. And we also spoke about the Gambia-Senegal relationship, and also the German, like the boys from the Parkway boys in Germany, because we have got so many complaints from the boys from the Parkway about as to what is happening to their fate. What is their fate? Has the government signed anything? And he has categorically made clear that they have not signed anything. So, sometimes I have also said to him, I think it's important they make these things, they make information so accessible, because, when people don't get information, they make claims about things that are not true. So it's important, but I think the show with the minister will be very interesting next week. I wish we could have just played it today to clear the doubts, but we will play that next week, inshallah. So I just wanted to make those comments. I wanted to make that clarification. And tomorrow we are doing the final recording for the candidates. Now, I have said this, we are going to give platform to everybody. The reason why we have not started airing the candidates, the shows that we recorded with the candidates, we don't want anyone to say, oh, you played our show and the other people were watching and they had points to come back and, narrate, do whatever they wanted to do. So what we have decided is to record all the shows and then come back and play them individually by the time. Mane, the foreign minister of the interior should be sitting on your chair. Oh yes, Mbenjai, the foreign minister was there yesterday. We had the foreign minister yesterday. It was a tough conversation. We had a very frank, it was a frank and tough conversation, and he cleared so many of these allegations. He spoke about so many of these allegations that were coming, the money, the support service, and claims that there were no travel documents. He made clarification on all of that. We had him yesterday on Thursday, because we called him on Wednesday, and he wanted to do the Thursday edit on Thursday. So we recorded him Thursday 6 o'clock, exactly around this time we were preparing to record him. So from the National Assembly, he came straight to us. So yes, so that will be on next week. I wish we had time today to airtime to play that show, but I think it's important for people to hear from him, because I have told him, there have been so many diplomatic issues this week. So personally, I think it's important for us also. All of us have. I spoke to one Gambian lawyer who lives in America, and it's always good for us to talk to these lawyers, talk to people. I mean, but for ordinary Gambians like me and you know, like when people say, oh, the government gave information, they gave this information to that person. But remember, when you file those papers, when we file those documents, already we are showing our documentation to the American government. All they need to do is type in and get your information. I think you should have got him together. Harriet, see, we remember also these are government ministers. It's not always easy to get them. So sometimes we had him yesterday on the show, but we had recorded the guy, Mr. Guy on Tuesday. So yes, it was not possible to have them on the same show. But I have always said this. You know, there are certain things that are just magic. They are not magic for us to understand. I have lived in the UK and I've lived in America. I know that the government will not openly give money to any government to say, take your people back. You know, what they will do, of course, they give us assistance, they give us loans, they give us assistance. So if you refuse to comply with some of these things, those are some of the things that they will stop. But that doesn't mean they're giving you money directly. But if an ICE officer tells one of our attorneys that they gave this government 40 million, for me, I have said it right there. I said, I think maybe they're trying to say these things just to please you, just to get you cooperate. That was my own imagination. But I think it's important that we all look at this as a bigger picture. These are our brothers. They are our brothers and our sisters. Any of us can be in this situation. I mean, I think we cannot be inhuman to their plight. We have to respect and show support and sympathy and see how we can work collectively as a people. You know, I have said this openly on the show yesterday. I think the government, this is a learning course for the government. Yesterday when we spoke to the foreign minister, he said this. He said, I have made it clear. I have made it clear to him. I said, you know, I think what the American government does, you have no control over. But what you have control over is how you treat your people, how you give them services, how you give them counseling, how you give them support. That is very important. And he had acknowledged that. In fact, he told us that he was meeting these people today. He told us that he is meeting these people today to talk to them. Some of them have left assets behind. Some of them have left other families behind. They're going to work with these people to make sure they whatever support they can render, they will do that as a government, which is very encouraging for me. But the reason why I'm saying this, I think we as a Gambian should not look at this as a political issue. Please, let's not take advantage of people's plight. The people that return, they don't care about politics right now. What they care about right now is their families they have left back home, their properties they have left back home, and how to move on in their life right now. What should be the situation? What should be the role we play as Gambians is support. Some of us, you know, when people are deported, we look at them as what? Keyword. When people are deported, we look at them, oh, kimom denko delosi. And that stigma, the way we look at them, it's what we should work on as a collective people and graduate from that. But right now, I do not think we should engage in saying, oh, yeah, this person should have done this. Because when we start the blame game, if we start the blame game, you know what happens? Then we see fault in everything. Because if you want to blame the government and say the government should not have issued the travel documents, you know what the government can also say? You want us to risk. You want us to risk this diplomatic ties for 1.7 million Gambians just for the sake of 2,000 people or 2,500. They can say that. That's an argument. And you know what? The story becomes inhuman. Because at the end of the day, then that makes it not being human to people that are really deeply affected. For me, the point is, how can the government work with these people and understand how they were brought in and work together to make sure those that are behind, if we can help to delay before issuing any of these travel documents, counsel them, inform them, and talk to them, even help in voluntary repatriation. I think these things are important. These things are very important. But, you know, these things are important. But if we are here saying, oh, Nila, Dengli, Bugun Gambiansi, oh, these people, Nyuluka Nipsi, at some, like the blame game, that's like, for me personally, it was very emotional for me doing this interview. It was very emotional for me doing this interview because I looked at this man, you know, a family man. Just, I'm looking at one point, just one aspect, separating them from their families. When I watched this video, on YouTube, on social media, and I saw this woman who was with her 3 kids, and the ICE officers just came, grabbed her, and the kids were crying. They were on the floor. Like, imagine that imagination. For a guy to sit on TV and almost shed tears, that was what Mr. Guy did yesterday. Because when I asked him about his family, he broke into tears. You know why? Because that's how close people are that's how crazy it is when you miss your family. So for me, there should not be any other way of politicizing this issue or bringing stigma to it, making people feel like, you know, I don't know. Yes, I want the government to take charge. Let the government work with this group of people. There are so many Gambians at risk. There are over 2,000 Gambians out there who are supposed to come back. I don't know what is, I am not a diplomat, and I do not know what is at stake if they don't issue their travel documents. I know we might have to lose trade ties, we might have to lose diplomatic ties, if that's what we want as a collective. I do not know. But what I know is we should give support to these people. We should support them as a people. We should support them mentally. But doing a blame game to this is difficult. It's really sad. Like, this is a situation, and you know, one thing people should know: immigration is I think most of the time I say it's luck. Like, it's luck. You can be in the U.S. for 100 years and do not have documentation. You can go tomorrow and just have your papers regularized. So some people are unfortunate. Some people are fortunate. So for me, you know, nobody should look at anybody who doesn't have documentation as Neki Tekiwut, Nyumam Baraka. No. What we should look at is the bigger picture. How can we come together? The people, for example, those of us in the United States, how can we mobilize resources? How can we mobilize ourselves and help these people? When they leave the U.S., they leave their families, they leave their properties, they leave their cars, they leave so many things hanging out there. And who is helping to help their families to send some of their stuff back home? That is important. Right now, what we should be thinking is, how can we mobilize and help people, these 45 people? I was told there's this Gambian who has a trucking company in Ohio. He was one of the guys that came home. I don't know how correct the figures are. He makes a lot of money. And his trucks, you know, he was about to load some of his trucks, and they took him away. The trucks are parked somewhere. No, I don't know who is even taking care of those things. If we are mobilized as a community, we can help each other. That's where the help comes in. I don't know if the government can help people individually in that angle, but as a community, if we come together, we can work on mechanisms like putting their stuff in containers, sending it to them. When some of these people are coming, like, you know, I think 2 of them even came in prison uniforms because they didn't have their clothes, or clothes were stolen, and I think the prison cells. So for me, we should look at the bigger picture in this. We should look at the bigger picture in this. Let's not look at politics. Let's not look at the people that were sent home. Let's look at how we should mobilize ourselves. How can we mobilize ourselves as a community? This is happening in America right now. The people in America, how can they mobilize themselves? How can they help these people? How can they help their families? If I am the household, I'm the head of my family and then I'm paying the bills. And all of a sudden, I'm taking away from my family. How do you pay the bills? How do you pay the bills? How do you take care of the kids? These are the issues, some of the things that we should look at. I mean, whatever the government is doing, the reason why we did this show was to, when this book came, I spoke to a friend and who was in the US, and he told me that I think you should do this show. And until Monday, Kajatu, setal kan mona kasi buntab. Until Monday, we had a show that was supposed to come, but then he said, you know what? It's also our duty to let people know what's going on. So why don't we have this show and generally talk about one person, talk about a story, and let him put out his story. At least, maybe, because if this story comes out, he told his story, and the government hears his story. I think what they can do is work with this group of people and help to safeguard the interests of the others. And then but if we just left it to just like that, and then people are making stories, I knew ma. So, hana bugulo nyo. Nak ngaruye ni. Ko de maru, buko de some boy with the bull def bombers. Sorry. So say hello. Oh, hello. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so I'm going to step out briefly, but I think my final word is going to be: let's mobilize. Please, let's mobilize. Let's help our people. And you know, sometimes some of us, you know, we are making all these things on Facebook. Naysan is sad. Is this? You know, when these brothers come out to you and say, hey, I'm about to get my daughter who's 21 to file for me, but of course, you know, she's a student or she doesn't have enough financial supporting, I need a financial support from you. And they know you can do it, right? You know you can do it, but you will deliberately not do it because, boy, man, duma dimbele Gambian bi, duma len dimbele, and we don't help them. And we wait until they're deported, and then we make it a big claim that, oh, someone else is responsible, but maybe you also played a part. If you had helped that person, maybe the person would have been here. I'm not saying that is the issue, but what I'm saying is, I think if we mobilize as a community, we can help each other. Like with Donald Trump, no one knows what is going to happen. With Donald Trump, no one can guarantee anything. I think what we can do is, this is really, really serious. If they're saying it's over 2,000 Gambians, and with this 45, it's already crazy. Whatever we do to slow down, I don't know whether it's going to be slowing down. I don't know whether it's going to be, you know, government intervening and making sure they. I don't even know. Trust me, I don't know how what we can do to solve this issue, because you know, if you are doing something and you are in control, that makes it easy. But as Gambians, we are not in control. What we are in control though is how we can manage this, especially making sure we inform the people that are affected and advise them. The embassy in DC has a role to play in this. The embassy in DC should, if you have a request from the State Department about a certain number of Gambians, I think you should be able to reach out to them and let them know you have got this request, and you know you're going to process that request. Maybe they should work on trying to see what they can do. At least give them some time before you issue that documentation. But it's important that the embassy in DC work with these people that they're getting requests for. Work with them, contact them, and see how you can work with them to help. Some people will be open to voluntarily coming home. So the embassy should be able to facilitate some of those. And I think going forward, the foreign minister said they are definitely going to look into how to closely work with these people. And that's important. So for us, the objective was to raise awareness and talk about this. And so that when we get the government reaction, the government should be able to say what they're doing and how they're going to help these people. But I think the main important thing is for us Gambians to mobilize. If we are not controlled, we know we cannot stop Donald Trump doing whatever he's doing. How can we mobilize as a people and support these people? Some of these people, they have their stuff back home there. They came home empty-handed, without clothes, without even cell phones. Their families didn't know they were coming. Some of them came home and slept at the airport because their families didn't know they were coming. So, and the U.S. government... But if we mobilize as a people, if these people come home, how can we help their families back home? They have kids, they have properties out there. If we can engage their families and help to send their stuff back home, that will be a step in supporting, at least. There's one step to close to supporting them. If for example, Mr. Guy has his clothes back home, he had said it on the show. He's a trained mechanic. He can fix any car in the world. If we can help him get his stuff, get his mechanic, his machines that he works with, his clothing, I mean, that would go a long way in helping him rebuild his life. That's what we need to do now. How do we help them start all over again? That is it. It's how do we help them? How do we help them? So if we can help, like, that is just one story. That is just one story. We just heard from one person. I mean, this guy was explaining to us before the show the different people he came in contact with. Most of them really doing very well, earning up to like how many $1,000s a month. Most of them, some people have construction companies. Some had auto trucking companies. They left all these things behind. They have properties and they have left them behind. So what I think is, I don't know what the government is going to do, but I know the government is trying to work on trying to get, I know the foreign minister was supposed to meet with these people today. He told us he was meeting them today. But as a community, how can we mobilize? How can we mobilize? Sometimes, I mean, nehud be nehud. We are on social media. But you know, sumala ewon fisa inbox la si suuf man la $5 la soxla. Te xamna ne mon ngoko. You don't do it. But then suñ mané fatura ni nga daw nga ne man ndaysan. I think we should be I don't know, bilay wax nehud. But I think we should mobilize. Lead of a serious is a serious issue. You know, some of these people, like, if you listen to individual stories, it's very depressing. It's sad. And the reason why I said we should not just stop the blame game is if you say you're going to blame the government also might have a talking point. Okay, that talking point when they bring up that argument, you know who's hurting? Is that individual ko hamne ñu ko delosi and yeremi bagasami family am ñu stuck in UK. Does that person need that talking point argument back and forth? I don't think so. You know what that person needs? Help. That person needs help. That person needs help. How are they going to start all over again? Sen bagasi, sen yere yang fa, sen yere yangi America, sen dom yangi America. Some of them have bills to pay. Ñu ngi am dom sen dom yangi dem college. Sen jabari ñu ngi fofu nonu ñom ñoy di breadwinner, ñom ñoy fay rent yi. Xam ngeen America bills yi ñu share. If we can help this person, at least mom ñipsina bi mo ñew ñewuta ken amut option indi wu sax ben yere lu dut lum sol. If we can help them, you know, mobilize, you send basic stuff you guys install, sohla. Basic stuff. Some it's sad. Basic stuff. They lived in the US for all these years. They have so many stuff there. Why hanga ko hamne mungi ñipsi mentally right now. You don't know what state they are. You cannot mun la wax koku nonu sax you know, li ak li. Koku doesn't even know where to start. But how do we come in here as a people is support them, give them support, give them counseling, give them whatever support we can. Some of the things they cannot even think about, help them think about for them. Some of those things is important. So man lolu moy suma observation. It's a very complex issue, and once again, I think we should not politicize this. Li pass in politics, li dafa neka somebody's livelihood, somebody 26 years yange face taxes, 26 years yange face 401k, 26 years yange dika si dika ñu hebe na bes rek gene la fa. Lolu man buma nekké di go through nga bëgg ko politicize man duma la uyu ci lolu. Lolu waruñ ko politicize. Yooyu liñ ci wara def rek ñun ñepp come together as people ñu jappalante ñu jappal ñu waye dinaan li mbaya do wañu tout waye di wax ne waaw li mo xew ni government bi ni la yeah I mean neexut ba neexut xam nga there are so many sides to this. Degala government bi man I told them outright government bi mistake nañ fan lañ mistake war nañoo reach out. War nañoo prepare the population ñu wax leen ne oh this is lii moo situation bi I mean ñun ñëpp understand lañ xanaa gisuñ ko every day ñu gis luñ share Mexican yi ñu ngi leen a delloo Senegalese ñu ngi leen a delloo Congo dëkk bu nekk ñu ngi leen a delloo du Gambia rek it's not just Gambia it's every country but how do you prepare your people? Prepare your people, give them the right information so that mentally people are prepared. And the people that are concerned, reach out to them. If there are possibility of helping them, slowing down the process, the government can, whatever you can do to reach out to them and help them get prepared. If they want voluntary homecoming, help them through that. I think that's what the government can do. But what the government cannot do though is say, government, I think that is very important. So for me, and also when they got here, it was so sad they were not there to help them. It was sad because they should have been there. But again, according to what the foreign minister told me on the show, they were not even they didn't know. They were not notified. That's what the foreign minister said. Yes, they issued some travel documents, but they were not notified that they were coming. So xam nga lolu yep tam motax mané the part we can control, let's work on that. What part do we control? The part we control is how we treat our people. The part we control is how we handle the situation when they're back home. The part we can control is how we mobilize to help these people. Very important. Right now lolu mo fi sis mobilize jappalé len Donald Trump mo ne soxlu len sen dëkk dañ mobilize jappalé suñ mbokay. Why not nekk fii dine nii ak nii we're not doing at the end of the day we're not even mobilizing and lii 45 rek la and we are told they have ñu ngi request over 2,000 people ñu ngi mobilize ñu ne almost 2,000 people la lii war a affect as a community. What are we doing to mobilize each other? I mean Gambians are good at mobilizing. Seetal biñ waxee yi fi how do you call it? Seetal bi ñu waxee yëfi naka lañ ko dee ooyee yëfi problème yi bu ñu mënee Yaya Jammeh dafa dem du Gambians in the diaspora ñoo fund the current government pour ñu mun a taxaw. If we can come together as a people again, mobilize, look for ways of mobilize nit ñi seen doom yi ñu bàyyi ci gannaaw seen families yi seen bagages yi ñu bàyyi ñu seet naka lañ leen mun a shippale some of those stuff just make one tiye benn aspect of it rek. I think dina baax. So I'm gonna have to go now. This has been very emotional for me, and it's sad. We all have families back home. Ken Hamut can next Ken Hamut. So these things for me is not anything lu nit wara celebrate. It's not anything lu nit wara enjoy. Du lolu. Ñun ñep am nañ ay mbokk ay mag ay raka ay nijaay. And how many of those people are illegal? Tey mun nañ leen a téye dindi leen. So lii kenn waru ko celebrate, kenn waru ko politicize, kenn waru see am bànneex. These things are serious and these are issues yoo xam ne amuñ control over. I think we don't have control over it. The part we have control of it, wax naa ko government luñ mun a def. But I think what should luñ mun a def mooy look for plan B's, how we can help each other. Because definitely dafa metti te du ñun rek ñoo koo jànkuwanteel. Seetal Mexican yi what they're going through. Last week maa ngi gis Senegalese yi di daw di dem Canada. Jigéen bi boot juróomi doom xam nga 4 doom. It's sad. You look at those things, you just break down. Those things are really serious. Xam nga dafa métti na ba yàlla xam ne métti na waaye naka lañ mën a def mooy ñu préparer suñ boppa bu dee mënuñ si dara kañ suñ nguur gi mën nañoo dimbale nag yombalal ko inform ñu and then ñu am information. These things are xam nga waaye dëkk àddina si yëpp la wóor Donald Trump bàyyut kenn du Gambia rek. Léegi instead of ñu jël wax ji rek ne waaw nguur gi nii war a ñi tam ñun deport nii ñun deport moom nañ leen bàyyi. They have enough issues right now what they're going through. They have enough trauma. So nañ leen bàyyi. These people, some of them, these are credible Gambians. Some of them are credible and good citizens that this country can use. I've seen somebody ko xam ne si Navy bi la bokkoon. Construction la dee def. Mu ngi am own kiram am joboot ne diine xam nga these people are honest and credible Gambians ñooñu America jaralu leen xam nga ñu fen war a ñu change seen fate. These people are am nañ ma Gambie wax nañ ma kenn koo xam ne kooku ay trucking companies la am America xam nga mu ngi liggéey di jàppale so many Gambians employ so many Gambians. So ñii ñu baax lañ doomi réew ñu baax lañ ñoo xam ne war nañoo mun a suñ leen supporter mentally financially whatever way we can support them suñ leen supporter mun nañoo def loo xam ne si réew mi dina jëriñ réew mi waaye nag dëgga foog ñu defar suñ taxawaay ñun Gambien si yépp nag suma rombee ne xay diw la dañ ko deport war a time boobu tabu la sax ñu deport ni sa famille ñëpp a ko noppal dañ ko deport su rombee fii moom dee tekkiwu dara war a government tam ñu xam nga government like I have said on the show I fault them on one issue information. If America requests for travel documents, if America requests for documentations, contact these people nga leen America contact nañ ñu pour yow sa document lii ak lii yow lan nga parel fooguloo ne ñu balaa ñoo issue sa time ñu may la time tuuti nga prepare sa boppa that way kooku dina choose boppam ne ndax dafa bëgg a ñëw voluntarily ndax dafa bëgg at least yow as a government def nga sa part. That is important. Su ñëwee fii tam si airport bi war nañ faa mën a nekk screen leen seet seen affaire jël seen contact details. If they want, offer them some counseling services. These things are important. That's the part the government can play. But government mënut a stop America pour ñu wax ne duñ delloo Gambian si mënuñ ko. So man foofu laa boo amee nañ leen try rek ne ñu mobilize each other. Let's stand by each other. Let's mobilize each other. Let's nañ ut services of lawyers. They are good Gambian lawyers yoo xam ne situation si. And they are ready to help. If your case is in progress, there's a case parewut. Trial nga contact a lawyer nga say nak nga muna def. Let's do that. Let's contact lawyers. If you're one person who am there nga solar services, people like Sadio Barrow, nga am halis nga amulo halis. Sadio is always ready to help Gambians. Sadio is ready to help. Always ready. Sa mbo pare, he will call you. Sa yoku kole dina la uyu nga am halis amulo halis xam nga but the Gambia he can help. So collectively as a people I think there's a lot we can do. Thank you very much guys. I have to go. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. So bye.